So I was going to say, when you're talking about when you first got there, your initial impressions of him and then how that's changed after being with him for 3 years.
My initial impression, I thought he was completely serious. Like, I didn't realize he jokes around as
He's
much
like
as he
stone
does.
faced.
Yeah. You know, cause he's so like chill and kind of like quiet seeming to everybody that he has a very good personality and he's very goofy. So
how do you, when you're playing with somebody who's like that, who is basically expertly managing the pace, how does that change the way you're approaching everything?
Well, sometimes I'll be looking in the game and I'll like try and emulate a little bit, and then I'll like look at it and I'll be like, nah, like I can't do that. So there is like a little like taking some of that with a grain of salt and just being like, that's just something that he's really good at.
Yeah.
But it does make you more aware of like the different levels of basketball that you can get on. So I feel like it's like motivating in a way to like see what he's able to do on the court and then like kind of be like, okay, like I can figure out my game to a certain extent and do that.
Well, I feel like when you're naming the different like types of dudes you need, it's like you need the cool guy, which I think he is. There's a part of, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a part of me with you is you are like, you're the emotion. You're kind of the heart. You're the dude who's like if you were too cool, I'm not sure it would work.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm probably right in there with Jay Will too. So I'll give me and Jay Will are kind of like the heart, like the energy.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that.
I'm trying to think about guys in sports who are cool like Shea. Like the only person that comes to mind, honestly, is like Joe Burrow. It's like he's the only person who I'm like has that same level of like all of the time. It feels like they're in control.
Joe's a good one. Yeah, just like chilled, like
everything.
I just don't like calling them chill because it's not like I feel like chill is like almost like nonchalant, like don't care. Like,
well, yeah, chill's implying you're not working.
Yeah,
it's like you're a killer,
like very calm. Yeah, like calm killers.
But it's like a silent killer. Yeah, you're like, I'm going to kill you, and I'm not going to tell you I'm doing it. You're just going to find out.
And you're just going to know, like in the middle of the game, like you're going to feel the presence of like what they're doing on the court.
There's been a few games where it feels like he kind of sneaks up on 30. Where it's almost like you don't.
Some are loud and some are like, honestly, now it's cool because he's kind of broken that threshold of like 40.
Yeah.
So sometimes now, like his 40 has been pretty. He's had a couple 40s where they've been quiet, and I've kind of looked up and I'm like,
you're like 38 points. It's 2 minutes up in the third quarter.
Yeah. And we're like, we're usually done by then too. Like sometimes, like we were talking about this too. Like we haven't really had like a lot of like close games, so which isn't a complaint, but it's like sometimes I end up with 40, and it's like, dude, you had 40 in like 30 minutes.
Is that it's maybe a hard thing to answer because it's a weird problem. It's a good problem to have and it's a weird problem to have, but how do you keep your foot on the pedal when that's happening?
Oh, like when he's scoring?
No. When you guys don't have a lot of close games.
I think just we're all as a team trying to get better. Like we do a good job of like, and our coaches like constantly drill us with like, just like kind of like throwing out, like we're trying to get better every night. So no matter who we're playing or what the score is, like we're trying to like leave these games way better than, even a little bit better than like what we went in with.
Yeah.
So it's more like a personal drive to like just get better, like work on our stuff, like get looks, like even if we're not making shots, like defensively, like be in the right coverages. And that's stuff that we learned from last year where we're like, if we can accelerate our growth as a team and get better in the playoffs, this would be one of the ways. Like in January on a Thursday night where nobody's watching the game, like we still have to show up like we're playing like a game 7.
Yep. What star did you watch growing up? But like what guys who excelled in their role did you watch growing up where you look at them and you're being like, if I can do a version of that, I feel like I'm successful?
My dad was big on like a Scottie Pippen vibe. So I wouldn't say I wasn't alive while he was like playing yet, but like that's somebody that I would like just look at and be like, that was good. You look at like early Kawhi even to a certain extent. That's somebody I've been just kind of like peeping right now just because like I feel like we're kind of like in the same phase of our career.
Talk about consistency too.
Yeah, exactly. Just being there the whole time. Like you look at his early Spurs thing, like I feel like we're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of look at those dudes as like somebody that can just do everything and like be able to do that. Obviously, I was going to say Kobe, but for the sake of our,
don't pick Kobe.
But yeah, just like I think those two are like kind of like big ones.
Speaking of knowing your role, I mean, a guy that obviously, you know, we both love, who you guys have added to the mix this year, is Alex. So I want your favorite Alex story first, but then I wanted to get your sort of perspective on his ability to do that, because he's been doing that since he got to the league, and it's why he's been so successful.
He has some good moments. I'm trying to think one that won't get cut from the.
Yeah, I was gonna say PG-13.
Well, first, AC is just a good vet to have on the team. I think the moment that stands out for me is when he brought the ring into the locker room. I feel like that was first off, that was a very vet thing to do, very old head of.
How did he do it?
Just, you know, try to like nonchalant play it off, walk around with this big rock on his hand, and then, you know, he passed around the locker room. Just like, we just kind of chopped it up about like him winning it, and like ended up being like it started out like as a funny like joke, and then it actually became like, you know, like his journey and just like what he did. And then he was just talking about like our team, and, you know, so he did a good job of that. We have like player meetings and stuff. So it ended up being a really good conversation, but I think that's something that the team, I wouldn't say was missing, but it's great to have added to somebody that's won, and somebody that he's still like youthful enough. I'm saying it like he's like 100, but
you know, with you guys too. Yeah. It's like he was winning when they won the championship in LA. What year were you at?
What
school?
Was that 20?
That was the bubble.
That was the bubble 2020.
Yes, that was 2020.
I was a freshman. Yeah. So there's still like a gap between that. So but he has like that youthfulness to like be able to like still relate to us, which I think is dope. And that story I think like sticks out to us because it's like that's something that everybody in the locker room wants.
The origin of the bark, because you talked about it in December, but walk us through the actual origin of it, and has it taken on a life of its own? Are you happy with how it's basically been portrayed in the media, everything with it?
Yeah, Chet did it in summer league my sophomore year. I guess like going into like my sophomore season. Trying to remember I don't know why he did that. And
just out of nowhere.
I think the lady may have said something about being a dog or something, and he like jokingly barked, and then me and Jay Will started doing it, mocking Chet, because it's just like weird that he did it. And then I don't know what happened after that, but it just Twitter like ran with it.
So where were you guys? So he did it and you started mocking him right away.
Yeah, we started doing like in the interview, we like mock him a little bit, or like, you know, I mean, just like trolling him. Like, like at the time, like we're not thinking like, oh, we're gonna make the barking.
This is gonna pick up. Yeah, you're just busting balls.
We're making fun of Chet. We go back in the locker room, we're making fun of him. He's turning red, so it was fun. And then like Twitter started drawing me and Jay Will as dogs, and just people are barking at us now. And then I don't even know how it got so popular, but then like in the playoffs, people are barking when I'm coming out and then it became cool. Like I thought it was awesome. I still think it's really cool. It's unique to our team. But yeah, I don't know where that like, I don't know how it exploded.
What was the dub center experience like?
It was fun. That's one of those things, like embracing like the challenges of the season. Just got to show my versatility. I got to jump ball. I had fun with it.
Your numbers are crazy too.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't complain there. Like it was fun to just go out and play. And
was there any did you have any point in that where you felt like uncomfortable at all?
I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but there was like a couple games, like we played Zubac and the Clippers, and that was one where he was just posting up, and I was like, this is exhausting. But like it was also like fun. Like I feel like I had more energy.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I just had more energy like going into like every game started with them posting me up. Like,
well, there's just something funny. There's some funny thing about you. There's going to be increasingly fewer opportunities for, I think, the team, but you also as an individual to be the underdog, because you're coming in places now and you're like last night, you're coming in, it's like, this is the best team in the NBA coming into MSG. So like, you're not going to have very many times. You're not sneaking up on anyone anymore. But like in that case, you still were the underdog.
Yeah, a little bit. And it was funny because I was telling Mark, I was like, every game is like, no matter what we think they're going to do, it's going to be a post up.
They're coming posted up. They're coming back to
but I thought it was good. I thought it helped my just case for like being a defender, and like our team is so good at defense. Like, and this is not even me, just like Casey Wallace doesn't get a lot of like credit for what he does.
Yeah.
Or like, even like Lou Dort, like never making a team. Like I feel like me playing.
That's another crazy one.
Yeah. Like I think that just kind of solidifies like when I was playing the 5, like it just shows how good we are as a team defensively.
We were talking with Trey about this the other day. I'm like, I don't even know that much about this, to be honest, but like the award stuff, it's a little bit like this with the, like somehow some movies like get nominated for no Oscars and you're like, oh, that's the best movie of all time. And you're like, how
did it miss?
How does Lou Dort not on an all defensive team?
Yeah. I think they should add a third team. I have a big thing with that. I don't know how there's 3 teams offensively and there's only 2 defensively, but I think they should add a defensive third team.
Well, this is not a question what he has to answer himself, but there's a part of me that is like, is this like the Christmas answer? Of like, keep leaving me off.
Yeah,
you know, at a certain point, you're like,
for sure. Because like, he definitely deserves it. He has like, you look at his last, like, at least while I've been here, his last 3 years, he's had the hardest matchup every year, every game for 82 plus games. Like last year, it's play 100 games. He has the best player for 100 games, the whole game. I don't know how you don't get it. I don't make the rules. I think they should add a third team, and I think there should be 2 defense player of the years.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think the third team.
I got a lot to say about the rules.
I think the third team thing is doable. The 2, why 2?
I think like if you take a big, right, and you give it to a big every year, it almost does. And this is not a diss to any big that gets it, because every big that has gotten it is deserving.
Yep.
Bam, Rudy,
Jaren.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, Jaren. Everybody that gets it is deserving. So this isn't to say it isn't, but defense is very like different for certain players. So it's like, I can be a really good defender without averaging the most steals. Like Herb's not on the, and hopefully he gets better soon. I know he just got hurt, but like Herb Jones is not like first in steals. But if you ask everybody around the NBA who one of the best defenders in the league is, he's going to be in the top 5 conversation. So it's like, I think if you have a big and a guard defensive.
So you want 2, you want a but they have to each be a big. You can't have like 2 bigs get it.
Yeah. It would be like
you couldn't do like
they
Rudy
do 2
and
different
Wemby.
things. I feel like in order to be a good defender,
I know what you're saying. It makes sense.
I don't know.
The issue is just going to be
it's just a big every year, and I feel like it's just based on like blocks instead of like I've never had to block shots, and a big's never really had. Well, actually, I have, so maybe not a good example. Like a guard's never had to protect the paint. Yeah, and a big's never had to chase a pin down.
Well, this was the thing when the year Marcus Smart won it, where it was like they were like finally the guy that has to basically like run around and do everything is being rewarded. I think it's a valid point. I think the counter to this would just be like, well, you could say this with all these awards. You know what I mean?
Probably. But I mean, they should actually look into it for all of them then. But I just think personally it does a disservice to like guards that are constantly in it, and because you have one less team for a defensive team. So it's like if you add another defensive team, then you might as well you don't really have to do the code thing, but it's like, I feel like
I like it. I think it makes sense. Yeah. I think this is a thing you could.
I think about it often.
You could champion this. You actually might be able. If you decide you care enough, and you decide to push it.
I really do. We'll see if I make a team this year. That'll
what you got. The next time Silver comes to a game, you just got to be like, I need 10 minutes.
We chopped it up this summer, and I was pissed because I forgot to bring it up. So now I'm.
Not just be in his ear.